Hello, welcome to Inconceivable. I'm William.
I'm Alex.
And I'm Wesley. And Mr. Stark, we don't feel so good.
And we'll touch more on that later, I'm sure.
But right now we're going to talk about something else.
Before we get started, I want to make a couple of quick announcements.
I gotta say some things too, so.
Okay.
Yeah, no, I just want to say that we have some really, really awesome friends that have enabled us to keep this going while we've had busy schedules this year so far. It's been super busy for me, and I know definitely for William and Alex, I'm sure.
As in all of us.
Yeah, that would include all of us. Yeah, definitely. But I just wanted to say kind of a thank you. I've been listening along while I've been busy, and our friends have been really good, and they're very kind, and so thank you so much.
Yeah.
We love you. We love you.
Also, thank you for bearing with us for the occasional day off, which we've had as well when we can't get anything to pull together. But yeah, things will be smoothing out in the coming months, though. The spring, believe it or not, the spring was the hardest time.
Yeah.
But yeah, we're looking at much more consistent stuff now, and lots of new stuff coming this summer, hopefully. But in the meantime, new stuff that we have right now, we have updates to the website. So we have decided to chuck the forum part of our website and replace it with a chat room that also includes private messaging. Accounts, you're going to notice that you can't access your original accounts that you used to. If I believe they're still in the system, you now log in and register through existing social accounts. So you can do that with your Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and Twitch accounts. If you use your email to sign up for a Geek Kind account with one of those emails that's attached to one of those social accounts, it should put them together, because it did that for my personal account on the website, I believe. So if you had stuff there originally, it should match that with that. But otherwise, if you don't have an account on Geek Kind, you can just use one of your social logins. Literally press 2 buttons and boom, account's created. It's the easiest thing, and that will allow you to, because we have new infrastructure on commenting on the stuff as well.
Yeah, so things are just changing. Like, unique accounts for different platforms is like so 5 years ago. Like it just doesn't.
It's hard. Yeah. So at this point, we want to be convenient, and that's what we're doing. And yeah, we're trying out some new things. So we'll see how this goes. Also, we've added a merch page, because yes, we have T-shirts now. You can go to the page, the merch page, but we are selling through Amazon. So when you go to buy it, you won't be buying it from our website. You'll be buying it from our web store on Amazon. So you can use all your account information from Amazon to make your purchases. No need to have all that stuff on your Geek Kind account.
And we'll be shooting out more ideas for that, I'm sure.
As well, yeah. We have pretty basic stuff up there right now.
As our meme culture grows, so will the merchandise.
Yeah. So if you feel like supporting our stuff, feel free to buy a T-shirt, because that does help do us more stuff, more than just this even. So
you need clothes, why not get ours?
Yeah.
And because we have like a huge Alex and William are constantly going to like cons, and like I'm sure like expanding into that field is fun and exciting. So
really
it helps to have the resources to do that.
Yeah. But enough of that. Let's get on to our topics. I'm going to open up with the long-awaited, Flipping Gary, of course, but the long-awaited conversation about Ready Player One. Yes, I know we're late to the game here, but
we're not Ready Player One.
That's a great way to put it. So I saw the movie last night, actually. It started going out of theaters sooner than I thought. I had a hard time finding screenings for it. I might talk to you about this.
Is that a bad sign?
I don't know, because
it was doing well when it first came out.
Well, see, here's what I believe it does, is that the theaters themselves reach out to the companies for how long they want to buy a license to a movie. So I believe that they just anticipated things like Marvel movies to do better, so they decided, it's not worth doing more than a 4-week contract to license this movie to show at our theaters, basically.
It's really stupid, because it's such a big movie.
It is, yeah. But basically, my dilemma is that I had to drive 30 minutes to see Ready Player One only about a month after its release, which is about the normal runtime for a normal movie, but this is a bigger production. It's a Steven Spielberg movie.
Yeah.
I mean. Meanwhile, in my local theaters, I could still see Black Panther if I wanted to, which was out middle of February.
But the thing, we talked about this a little bit yesterday, the thing with that is that movie is so insanely successful, like unheard of.
I know.
That, like...
I'm just saying.
I think that's a little bit of an unfair comparison. Like,
well, we're talking about a month and a half difference here.
I know,
that's pretty biased.
But then looking at all like the other new movies that have come out, and there's just like, they don't look like they're even close to being interesting. And then there's Ready Player One. I'm just like, why don't you just like,
except for A Quiet Place.
I still have to
concur with Noah from last couple episodes ago or whatever. That
last episode.
I loved it. Yeah. But anyway,
yeah. So Ready Player One. To preface, I've never read the books. Alex.
I read the book.
And seen the movie.
Yep.
Wesley.
And I have not done
just
either.
Bystander.
I'm just here for the ride.
But anyway, so but you know all about Ready Player One.
Yeah, I know the premise. Yeah.
So I was going into this low expectations because one, I hadn't read the book, so I was purposely didn't know a lot about it, but I love the premise. It seemed really cool. Who doesn't love a lot of pop culture references? And I also was hearing a lot of crap from hardcore fans, so I wasn't...
Yeah, that's a given, though.
Yeah.
I was a pretty...
Basically, I didn't have any reason to have any expectations for this movie. My only thing is that I just wanted to enjoy myself going into this. I just wanted to watch it and just have fun, you know?
It's a popcorn flick.
Yeah. And I went there, and you know what? I got exactly that. And probably a little bit more, actually. I was pleasantly surprised. However... while watching the movie, I felt like there was some potential wasted, which I'm sure a lot of people can agree with.
Yeah.
So the problems I had, the characters, all the characters in it, the acting is very good. I really like the acting. I like the characters themselves. However, the biggest problem I had is that I feel like they did not... they hooked me with all the characters. They hooked me with the story. I was actually weirdly immersed into this movie. I left it just really adrenaline rush because they had an amazing ending battle scene at the end, and that was really tense. Very reminiscent to Matrix and Inception, where you have the battle in real life going on and the battle in the virtual world happening simultaneously. Okay. That's always really fun. Is this
a self-contained film?
I think there's
single storyline.
Yeah,
I think there's sequel books or spin-offs, but I don't know.
This is very, as far as I know, this is meant to be very much the same movie.
Okay. Yeah,
it's
hard to tell nowadays.
It doesn't leave anything hanging.
Yeah,
it's very capped off.
Cool.
I mean, I didn't wait until after the credits, but I didn't expect anything.
Yeah. I didn't either. So yeah, the problem that I had is that the story had me hooked, the characters had me hooked, but I feel like they left so much on the table. I wanted to be more... here's the funny thing. I wanted to be more invested in these characters, but they didn't give everything I wanted to be. And they had ample time to do that because this movie was 2 hours and 20 minutes. So they had plenty of runtime to work with on this movie. And it left me wanting. Not wanting for a sequel. It left me wanting to know more about these characters. And I'm sure lots of people would say, it's in the books and that's what they're missing and all. Yeah, I get it. But I'm looking at the movie as just the movie... taking the book completely aside. I'm also concerned about the second time I would see this movie because I feel like there's a lot of plot holes. I don't know if it's directly related to the story or it's just how the movie portrayed it about how the Oasis works.
I think that's with most movies though, because you watch something the first time and you're just like, oh, this is amazing, and you're so invested, and then the second time watching it, you're watching it, but you've already seen it, so you can notice things that you might not have noticed before, and you're just that doesn't work. Or if you have time to think about a movie, the more you think about it, the angrier you get. When I watched the 2 Cloverfield Paradox, I'm just like, oh, that movie was okay.
Yeah.
And then I thought about it, I'm like, no, I'm actually really mad at it.
Yeah. And spoilers from here on out, but the ending also kind of bothered me about how the resolution came with the villain. So, to set up the scene, basically, the good guys have won. They've got the key to everything, the golden Easter egg. But in real life, the main Ion, is that it? No.
The Sixers?
Yeah, the main guy for the Sixers.
Oh, Sorrento?
That sounds right. But either way, he's found them in real life, and he's coming up to their mobile van where they're playing their VR thing, and he's got a gun. And so he gets the gun, and he's coming up to him, and then all of a sudden, all the people in real life who are playing are just surrounding him.
Sounds so much like the Matrix.
Yeah.
Just like not knowing what's...
But you think there's one guy, and there's like 1,000 other people that's willing to protect this dude. You think, oh, this is it. This is where it wraps off. But then he shows he has the gun, and then they make a path for him.
Yeah, he holds his gun up, and like all these people would just go like, "Oh,
I mean, like, none of that."
I get why that would be like scary, but
there's
he's not pointing
of
at
you.
them, right? Yeah,
there's 1,000 of you. There's literally only one dude with a pistol. I'm pretty sure if you showed that you were all willing to come to beat him up at once, he wouldn't start shooting at people. That's when you duck for cover.
See, that's the thing. Like, I understand, like it's well, obviously it's a terrifying thing, but the thing is, like in the book, like the United States has gone so far down the crap hole that you're able to literally buy a gun in a vending machine, and that's what one of the main characters actually does. So I'm just like, these guys have been living in like this, rough town for a while, like this rough world. So I don't think like that would be something that would phase all of them so easily.
And yeah, it's just it didn't feel right, And then he's approaching the van, right? Opens up the back of the van, and you see
Wade Watts.
Wade right there, the person that he's looking to stop and kill.
By the way, spoiler alert.
I already said spoiler alert.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And he stops, and he has this moment where, like, because he just turns, and he's got like a tear coming down his face because he's achieved all his dreams, and he just stops, and he kind of like lowers his gun, like having like an actual like spot of morality. But I don't buy it. Like, it doesn't make sense to me that because in that moment of just being fully clouded about his goal, and at this point he's drove himself to the ground to literally kill somebody to have his goal.
Well, here's the thing: is like right when he gets to the van, Wade has already gotten the egg, and like Wade is in the virtual reality, but he has the suit on, so it's able to sometimes like show if he's like touching something or holding something. So he's like holding the egg, and light is coming from his hand. And Sorrento just looks at him, and it's like he's just looking at the light. He's like, "Oh, I guess he's won." And it's like, "Ooh, pretty. That's nice." So
whatever it was,
I'm like, "Really, dude?"
If it was that or just him coming to his senses, I didn't buy it either way. And I just...
What was this like? Like, how did this compare to the book, Alex?
The book. Well, let's face it. With the book, it's like several hundred pages, and it's like it leaves a lot more. Like it gives you a lot more for the character development.
Yeah.
Like I basically understood the main character Wade Watts. Like I read the book, and I was like, all right, he's doing this for this and this for this reason, and I was like kind of seeing it from that angle. Even though everything was sped up a little bit in the movie, especially his relationship with the girl, I was like, that's sped up so fast. But in the
not unlike real life.
Yeah.
I felt like regards to... Actually, no, I have more to touch that, just a beat, so keep going.
Yeah, but in the books, it's over the span of, like, maybe a year or two that this is happening. And in this one, it happens in, like, a couple weeks.
Yeah, very, very... I mean, the pacing was good in the movie, but as far as that, I feel like that's part of the reason why I felt like I wanted more character development, because it was just going...
If it was a TV show, it would have been much easier.
Yeah.
But then again, it wouldn't be so high budget.
Regards to that relationship... So there's this moment in the movie where they meet in the VR, and then after doing a couple adventures, he admits that he loves her. And
he admits. It's more like he has a crush on her.
Yeah, no, but straight up tells her that I love you, and she's like, "No, you don't. You don't know me in real life. You don't know who I am. You don't know anything about me. You don't even know if I'm a chick." Like, and then I'm not what you expect I am. And so we're just picturing, it's like, oh wow, so like she could be like, yeah, it makes you think, oh yeah, she could be something completely different.
She could be like a 30-year-old guy in his mom's basement.
And what is she?
She's a girl.
She's a very cute girl who just has a birthmark.
She has a birthmark, and that's what she's really
concerned about. But it's not even that bad. And they're gonna sound really weird saying this,
bad.
But I was really annoyed by how attractive she was. Like,
are you kidding me?
That's it.
I was supposed to think you were ugly.
Yeah. Yeah, it's just like, it didn't feel like he had to try very hard. I'm pretty sure every single guy in the room would have been like, oh yeah, I'm fine with that. Like,
yeah.
there's not a single guy in the room.
Lies.
Yeah.
These are unfair standards.
People think guys are picky. Sometimes we really are.
But oh my gosh, yeah, when that happened, I was like, really? That's what didn't meet expectations, was the fact that
You're not gonna
This
love
movie
me
assumed I was shallow. I'm offended.
Yeah, like, look, I think Wade is very average. I don't think he's very attractive.
Well, good.
no. I'm just like talking about like normal.
I
like
give him a 7. You know?
That's being nice. I'd go more towards the 6. Yeah.
Oh please.
Yeah.
He's pretty good looking.
Either way, I felt like she was like
Of course, she's better looking than him.
Yeah, but I was like, really, the nerd couldn't even like. The nerd even would have been happy, like just as happy with someone who wasn't even attractive in the first place. Like
from her interactions, she should have like known that he's not like he's pretty desperate, so he'd probably go for anything.
I don't know.
It's just a lot.
Is that really what?
Oh, dude.
It was
in the book. Okay, in the book,
yeah.
He does not look that good. He is like.
Oh really?
He's like. He's
like,
bad.
What about the girl? What about the girl?
No, she's exactly like she is in.
Oh really? So she's actually.
I think her birthmark was more prominent in the book, but again, she just hides it with some of her hair, and she's fine. I'm just like, yeah, she's a liar.
You can probably like contour right over that.
Oh my gosh! Yes.
With makeup these days, you have no idea.
You got 2 face options nowadays.
But yeah, so that was a weird
This
thing.
is the future.
That was a weird thing to be annoyed about, but I think there's reasons for it, because I felt like that would have been a much more powerful story if it was 2 people who were legit unattractive in a Hollywood movie that were falling in love, almost like if it was more like real life.
I just want to say,
Hollywood, use real people.
I just want to say
not
something
models.
that I thought about just now about makeup. It must be kind of fun to be a girl, because it's like character creation every morning. It's like I spend hours in a video game doing that. Like,
So can you understand how a girl spend hours doing makeup then?
absolutely, I totally get you now. I understand women.
You can too. Sure. I'm gonna take a very long drink now.
Oh man. So yeah, that was kind of like an annoyance, because I felt like there was an opportunity to be honestly different for a love story.
Yeah.
And they just like,
You know,
no, why did I expect more from
what would
Hollywood?
have been awesome if she was like a perfectly average girl and not really pretty.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. Hollywood could never do
Can
that.
Hollywood even handle that though?
Yes.
Like,
Can they?
So that's a conversation on its own about
Yeah.
the whole issues.
how
with
could we
Hollywood.
make someone look not good?
Don't try so hard.
So yeah, okay. So but onto the like better parts of this movie. The action was really good.
The action
Steven
was good, but it was
Spielberg's
really, really fast going, like fast paced. I could barely see a lot of it sometimes.
Yeah, though, that being said, to have this kind of, like, because we're talking about, like, the world's biggest video game ever, like, it's kind of hard not to have a lot going on, like...
They had Tracer and the Iron Giant.
Yeah, so like, tell me about some of the cameos. Like
So, this is one of the best ways to have all these Easter eggs and cameos, because it's the whole thing is about pop culture and Easter eggs.
Yeah.
So...
Well, it's like you can use anything and have it in the video game. Like you can create it yourself. Like there
is literally countless references and things that you see on screen. You have things to weapons being from games. You have things of you'll see a character in the background that's totally something from like a pop culture
I think
reference.
they used a Spartan laser at some point.
that's awesome.
Yeah, while driving. Wait, wasn't he? Yeah, he was driving the DeLorean while using a Spartan laser.
That's great.
There was also a point where I don't think as many people know. It's towards the last act. The girl there, she has the Gears of War saw
that's
weapon,
awesome.
and it was there for like 2 seconds because it like blew up immediately or something like that. But I was like, oh snap, that's awesome! And by far one of my favorite references though is towards the end where he literally did a Hadouken, and I was like, oh, there was so many points in the where I audibly in the movie where I was like, yes, thank you for that reference. Like,
what is the name of that? It was like an anime. Like the girl was riding a bike in the beginning.
oh yeah,
it's like a Kami Rider or something. I
but
don't know.
no, that is
I know I'm
definitely a
butchering
reference
that.
to.
I'm butchering that.
And there was the Gungam mech towards
That's
the
cool.
end, which was
They
really
had
cool.
Mecha Godzilla at the end.
That's great.
It was pretty awesome. And also, they had Joker and Harley Quinn from Arkham Arkham's.
But no Batman?
No, from a distance, like you can climb Mount Everest with Batman if you want to, and you see from a distance.
They also had the OG Batman car in there as one of the
like
race
the
cars.
89 or the Adam West?
The black and red
Adam
one.
West.
Adam West one.
Yeah.
Okay.
They had that as one of the cars in the
I need
race.
to watch it again because that was.
Well, see, here's the thing.
They also had The Shining in it. Like
oh yeah, so they literally had a part where they had to like be in the movie The Shining to find
the key. Yeah.
Yeah, and wow, they like, I don't know if they recreated it or they literally just took frames from the movie.
I haven't even seen The Shining, but I was like,
it is a freaky movie. That would be a trip. We should do that.
I
sometime.
don't know.
Yes,
no, I don't want to. I can't handle scary.
Here's Johnny. So yeah, honestly for me, I feel like you just can't look into this movie too hard. Whether
oh no, you shouldn't go into this movie thinking like I need to have something very like amazing and
because I feel like if you hyper-analyze this, yes, there's a lot of stuff you can find wrong with this movie. And yes, there's some stuff that doesn't make sense. And yeah,
if you look at a cake's ingredients, you're not going to feel very good about yourself. But you just eat the cake and enjoy it, you'll be fine.
Oh, that was good.
Yeah, that's a great way to put it. Like honestly, like I feel like
just eat the cake.
Shut up and eat the cake. Okay?
Yeah, it's like this movie can be really enjoyable if you just let it be.
We only analyze some stuff we really love, okay? No,
yeah. Way about like meat. If you're a vegetarian, it's like just eat the meat.
Just be a vegan. I don't know.
What?
Go into this movie.
Why would you go one
vegan.
step down? Vegetarian's bad enough. Now you can't have eggs.
Don't worry about the meat.
Also, I really love how Simon Pegg was in this movie. I'm a huge
Simon. Oh, really?
Pegg.
So, yeah, who was in this movie? As I'm
Peoples.
Totally in the dark.
To be honest, not a lot of big actors.
Well, no, the guy who does Wade Watts, he also does Cyclops in the new X-Men movies, and he was also in Scout's Guide to the Zombie Apocalypse.
Oh, okay.
That movie was something else too.
I've never seen that.
Yeah.
At least from my point of view, the only actor I really recognized was Simon Pegg.
Actually,
Nolan
Sorrento, the guy the villain, he's actually in Star Wars Rogue One. He's a director critic.
Oh,
that's who. Because I thought he looked familiar, and I just didn't think he was going to. But then, yeah, as soon as you said that, that makes so much more sense now. He plays a pretty similar character in this, actually.
He plays basically the exact same character.
A little less hot-tempered though.
T.J. Miller is in it.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. That T.J. Miller, because
who's that?
He directed Deadpool, the first movie, I think.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
and
but
he's also like the bartender guy in Deadpool.
Yeah, so he was doing a voice for one of the guys. He sounds very much like Jonah Hill.
Yeah. Yeah, well, him and Jonah Hill are actually in the movie How to Train Your Dragon.
Let's see this.
Oh, really? That's awesome.
Yeah.
So, Simon Pegg. Okay.
Why would anyone have a picture like that for a guy?
Wade Owen. I recognize Tyler guy. Who else is that? People's.
This person's and.
Yeah, a lot of people I don't recognize.
Yeah, me neither.
So, yeah.
So it was like.
But that's not a bad thing though, because they were all great.
Not yet.
They also had good child actors in here too. Always good to see that.
You know who else had a pretty good child actor?
What are you talking about?
Infinity War.
That was one of my. As I know we're about to transition, maybe.
Wait, what?
We're about to? I don't know.
Look at Gary.
Okay,
Gary?
we're running out of time.
We got a couple of minutes.
So let me cap off here before we switch into the much anticipated Avengers talk. Yeah, like we said, just don't. I know it's harder if you read the books because you have a little bit of biasness going into it. But I feel like you can really honestly have a lot of fun watching this movie, especially with all the references. Because that's another thing. The references.
Watch the movie for the references.
The references felt very natural. I felt like there was very limited times where it was too much because it made sense. And you know what's really weird is that I was oddly very comfortable in this movie where I forgot how rare it's to see all these like references and stuff. Because also really obscure references too, not just the easy cherry picks that everybody knows. There's a ton of references that very few people will get. And it really goes to all spectrums.
Apparently, somewhere in the movie, there's the crescent rose from Ruby.
Yeah,
really. Licensing for that.
Wow.
Yeah, it's in there somewhere, but it's so hard because so many references literally only get like two frames in the movie. So, yeah. So there's literally countless references, and it's such. I just had a lot of fun watching it. I really did. I wanted my main disappointment was I wanted to be invested in the characters more. Like there wasn't enough development for them, and I can't remember the last time I watched a movie where I was hooked with the characters, but they didn't deliver enough. Usually if characters fail, it's because they didn't get me hooked, and stuff happens, and I just don't care. You know.
Yeah.
Speaking of not caring, Wade's parents didn't really care.
Oh, those were
not
his
Wade's.
parents.
Oh yeah, but
no, that was his aunt and her boyfriend.
yeah, and when they died, I felt like they had zero.
Yeah, he didn't
impact.
really care in the book either
Yeah.
that much.
So, yeah, I felt like, but that would have been something that would have made sense to change. You know, if you're going to change things about the books, then like make stuff that would improve it.
Well,
you know?
they need to let people know that his life was sucky.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And if you're going into this, like from the book points, the best thing I can say is that expect it not to be the same because there's a lot of stuff in the book that doesn't necessarily translate to screen. This is a screen adaptation that's very fun to look at.
They took a lot of liberties with this movie, like the whole Easter egg hunt. Like they changed a lot of the what was it? Things. Okay.
All right.
Let's go with that.
All right.
Well,
Yeah.
we'll switch over. Talk about Infinity War. My point about the child actor was I thought second time through, I thought the little Gamora, like baby Gamora, was actually a pretty good child actor.
Yeah, she
So
was.
That was my point on that.
It's a good segue.
Yeah.
So Alex, what'd you think about?
Infinity War. So my mind was kind of blown away. I think I don't know. I think I had a
Spoilers, by the way.
yeah,
Yeah,
spoilers.
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 Major
And we're gonna
spoilers.
discuss like the meat of the movie first. We'll get to the end at the end.
which is more meat.
Yeah.
But no, I think I personally was thinking that they were going to do a pretty good job with the movie because it looked like it was going to
The
be
trailers were super.
Yeah.
It's
It
been a
looked
long
decent.
time since I've
Yeah.
seen trailers this hype.
yeah.
Yeah,
It
and
looked
that the
pretty
fact
decent.
that the trailers didn't really give away. They didn't take away from the hype of the movie itself.
No.
The Russo brothers said that only like 5 minutes worth of the movie was actually shown
Yeah.
in like trailers and
And
such.
yeah,
The only
and
things-
you can pull that off when you shoot different scenes for the trailer.
Yeah.
The only things I would say is that it would have been cool to have some of the jokes that was used in the trailers to be. I mean, but that's always
Yeah,
the
because
thing.
the thing about Chris Pratt and the plan, or like Star-Lord and the plan.
Yeah.
I was like, I've seen this a million.
Yeah.
That was the only joke that I felt like was kind of like,
Well, the one with the Spider-Man
already
and
laughed
the
at
real
this one.
fake names and all that.
that one. But I hadn't seen that. That was in like one of the last trailers. I hadn't seen that as
Oh,
many
okay.
times,
Okay.
so I still kind of chuckled at that when I saw it.
Yeah, I was glad that it
And that was shot differently in the movie.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah.
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 But I think I was taken away by how good this movie was, honestly.
Yeah,
Like,
I walked out and I was like,
Shook.
What was this-
10.
Well-
like 10.
I was just thinking about how hard it must be to like juggle so many characters in one movie. I'm just thinking about regular movies.
Did it
and-
really well.
Yeah, thinking about regular movies, like they can't even have like 10 like good main characters really. This one had like 30.
Justice
Yeah.
League.
Well, here's the thing about that though. The Infinity War would not have been possible if it didn't have 10 years of movies in front of
That's
it.
true.
It wouldn't be possible. We wouldn't have felt like it was such like so take away if Infinity War existed on its own, we would probably complain that we didn't know a lot about the characters.
That's
Sometimes I feel like we're spoiled in that way because one thing that people were complaining about with Thanos, like the one thing was like, well, we don't really know that much about him from the movie standpoint. Well, think about Darth Vader, like the most iconic villain to this point. If you've only seen episodes 4, 5, and 6, the original, a lot of his backstory is a mystery, and that was fun rather than I don't know a lot about him. I seriously
I think we knew a
that
fair amount about him in this movie.
exactly, and I don't know, like seriously, 10 years from now, I guarantee you, people are gonna be like, Thanos is like the new Darth Vader, like literally, like
I don't know about that.
I think so. I think he is the best villain of our time.
That's nice.
Okay, so
Of
maybe
our time.
for this generation, okay.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Of our generation.
Well, Darth Vader
Thanos
wasn't our
is
generation,
big.
so.
Like,
Oh yeah, he's big. He's huge. He fought the Hulk.
Yeah.
yeah, and that was
was a
that was
great
actually
scene.
one of my favorite
I really
scenes.
enjoyed seeing that.
It wasn't
Well,
fun seeing Hulk get his butt kicked, but
It was
the
nice to see
choreography was great. Like,
it literally looked like a boxing match with Thanos,
Yeah.
just like hitting
Oh, it
him
was
in
good
very
to see.
specific spots. I like that a lot. But no, knowing that the Russo brothers, like, well, let's face it, Civil War was a better movie than Age of Ultron, and they had more characters in it.
Absolutely.
And
100% agree.
and like they just juggle the characters so well in that one, and that was only half the amount
Well,
that
the
there
thing
was.
about
I really
Civil-
like Ultron as a villain.
The
though.
thing about
I did too.
That was like second time through Age of Ultron. I was like, as a whole, this movie is lacking, but I actually really like Ultron.
I just felt like, I agree.
Yeah.
There was interesting points in that movie. I felt like it was very well
I think it should have been a two-parter, or it should have been longer, because it was really like Weekend at Ultron's. But anyway, like, we got...
Like, you know, not in the entire world.
But Civil War I liked because it was way more focused than Age of Ultron. Age of Ultron felt all over the place, especially towards the end where it's like, and now we have Vision. And you're just like, wait, what? Like some people saw that coming because they know how Vision was supposed to be. Coming. But for someone who didn't even know who Vision was, and for that just happening, it's like, what's this curveball? Is he a good guy? I was just so like.
Well, that's an okay though, because in the comics he does start out as a bad guy.
Yeah.
Because people who follow the comic books know that Ultron equals Vision. Like, you see Ultron, you're gonna see Vision, because Vision, like, Ultron creates Vision to be like his right hand man, and then he's like, nah, I'm a good guy and I love Scarlet Witch. Which was actually, by the way, one of my favorite parts and relationships of this movie.
Really?
I love Vision and Scarlet Witch. I am team Vision and Scarlet Witch.
I was mad, okay? They should have killed him off like...
No!
Yeah.
No!
Okay, here,
I love Vision!
Listen,
Don't say that!
Listen to me. Listen. So they're trying to save Vision. There's like one life shouldn't be replaced by another.
Yeah.
That sort of thing. But then they send out an entire army to fight so he can be alive, and people die in that army. Are their lives less worthwhile than his?
But that's different than...
No, it's not!
Yes, it is! Because they had a choice.
Different?
They had a choice. God, Bruce Banner says that.
They also had a choice to kill him. He said it. Kill me. And he died.
That justification didn't bother me at all. Not at all.
Oh my goodness, so many people died because of Vision, and Vision, like, I think they should have had him dead.
No, I love Vision.
I really liked how their relationship was portrayed as more wholesome and not just like, oh, mushy, mushy, mushy love all the time.
No, it was really like, wow. Like, seriously, I felt like their relationship was like a bright spot in the movie. Like, when I saw them smile at each other and stuff like that.
And then you literally have, in the same movie, one of my least favorite couples of anything, which is Bruce Banner and...
it's still weird.
I'm so glad that they
It only had like a second.
They didn't touch on that.
No, they didn't.
That was the most uncomfortable. One of the
Let's check in on Bruce and Black Widow. Yep, still awkward. Okay.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
That's what it was.
Still weird.
That was one of the weirdest parts for me in Age of Ultron. I'm just like, where did this come from?
Yeah.
And why did this
come from? Why is Gamora?
Okay. So that brings to an important point.
Drax
the Avengers... The Avengers, this Avengers had to deal with the first time that no other Marvel movie has done before, which is mixing tones. We have a lot of new tones.
Yeah, and they did it really well.
They did a really good job. People, if there's any deviance in characters, some people are saying that they're not happy with Star-Lord's portrayal. I don't think so. I think that he was fine.
I had a problem with him, but I don't think it was inconsistent.
Right, because
it wasn't inconsistent. I was just mad at him. I was like, "Why are you being so insecure?"
He was more emotionally driven by
they
personal
did call him
experience at this
fat,
point.
So
What?
They did call him fat, so of course he'd be insecure after that.
Yeah.
I felt like it was warranted though, because this is character progression. Yes, Star-Lord's turn is different, but that's because the last movie set up some more personal life stuff.
Yeah.
He's coming off
got
from
a dad,
that.
and then had to kill that dad.
And then found out that dad killed his mom.
And then his daddy died saving him.
Yeah, and his
So
real daddy.
His father, he had to kill his father, and then his daddy died.
So yeah, he's coming off from a lot of emotional stuff, and you see that. And I was telling Alex about this. I think it was you. Man.
Probably.
We see this interaction, which I thought was, in my opinion, one of the best moments in the movie, with Star-Lord and Thor talking about their losses. Mm-hmm. And holy crap, by the way, freaking Avengers Infinity War doesn't hold back anything, starting off with literally picking up right off of Thor Ragnarok and be like, oh yeah, half it and
half the Asgardians are dead.
Yeah.
And now Heimdall and Loki are dead.
Wait, where's the other half?
I don't know, but that's one of the things I noticed the second time through is he specifically says, killed half my people. Yeah. He says that in the movie, like, killed half my people. So,
maybe
not all dead.
Maybe Heimdall was able to use the Bifrost to get half of them off the ship?
Maybe. And the Russo brothers have come out and said that, Valkyrie wasn't on the ship. So she's out there somewhere.
Thank
I
goodness.
bet you she'll be in the second one.
That was a great way to start the movie off. I'm just
Yeah.
like, you
Well,
feel it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that did a lot to set up the feeling of like, okay, the bad guys are significantly more powerful
like,
this
oh,
time
yeah,
around.
they
People
killed-
could die whenever.
They
Now-
killed Idris Elba for crying
Yeah.
out
And
loud.
this is a great example of what, if you didn't see Ragnarok, this scene would have meant almost nothing to you.
Yeah, Ragnarok's a prerequisite for
But
Infinity
watching
War.
the trailer, you knew it was going to happen.
I
Surprisingly,
think
Black Panther wasn't.
no, it wasn't. All that does is help you.
Understand
I don't
Wakanda a little
understand
bit.
the
Yeah, all-
timing for that.
All it does is
All
you
it
become
does.
familiar with Wakanda and you appreciate Black Panther more as a leader.
Right.
Yeah.
I wish that Ragnarok would have come out before. Like, I wish the release schedules were swapped for Ragnarok and Black Panther, because this would have been a much better segue. I was expecting Black Panther, being the last movie before Avengers, to be more of a segue into Avengers. It wasn't at all.
I don't think it was that
It
impactful,
didn't bother
but
me that
Ragnarok really is the first movie timeline-wise right before Infinity
Well, and then
War.
also, because it also gives you basically everything involving Thor and Hulk, you would only understand by watching Ragnarok.
you definitely, it's a prerequisite.
Hulk would
for,
be really weird to you in this movie if you didn't see
Yeah.
Ragnarok.
Yeah, because you have to know what's happened in that relationship.
And
why-
Thor on that same point too, but I mean but I feel like that should be unsaid because like it's a Thor movie. Of course you're
Yeah.
gonna miss development in a main
I think
character's
it's
movie.
kind of nice to get his eye back.
So-
Or kind of.
I don't know.
That was good.
Honestly, I felt like the losses and the gains in Thor Ragnarok were made obsolete in this movie. Like, he lost his eye, but it's fine because he gets another eye. His hammer breaks, but then no, he gets an axe. He saves all those people from.
I think they're meaningful
Asgard.
progressions though. I don't feel like it took away.
Well then, I'm sorry, I should go back to my original point, whereas when they're having that conversation, you see the contrasting of
Is
tons of
Korg
losses
still
in their
alive?
life.
Who?
Is Korg still alive? I
yeah,
hope he's alive.
I hope so.
I
Like,
really hope so.
I
I
think
feel like
he
he
will
would've been
be.
on the ship
I think
with
he'll be
Valkyrie.
okay.
But
He probably would have gone up to Thanos and was just like,
so
hey man.
you see the contrasting of emotions where you had Thor literally smiling through tears. That was a heartbreaking thing to watch. By the way,
Yeah, this big
great
space
acting because
pirate
like
angel.
I was.
Yeah. I think this was Thor's best performance. Ragnarok
Oh, yeah.
was really good, but Thor is great in
I
Infinity
actually
War.
cared about Thor.
Yeah, he
his
was one of my favorite
arc was
characters.
good.
Yeah.
It started off where I was like, oh, this is gonna be like Age of Ultron, where he just goes off on some stupid little. But no, it was good. Like, and the teams that they set up for the movie, they were all really interesting. Like, they were really good with like what characters they paired with which
That's right, 'cause
characters.
they had to mix the Avengers with Doctor Strange with
Yeah.
the Guardians of the Galaxy.
Great
Yeah,
mashing.
exactly.
by the
Putting
way.
Strange and Tony together was great.
And then throwing Spider-Man in there as
Yeah.
like the young lead in that.
And Doctor Strange was one of my favorite characters in this movie too.
also very good.
I'm
Yeah.
watching it a second time. I was just like, I love seeing how he fights and what he does exactly. Like,
Yeah,
it's
it was
so
cool seeing
different.
all like his like hand,
His
yeah,
hand gestures.
movements.
Also,
Yeah.
I felt like it made a lot of sense to put Thor with the Guardians, since Thor
Yep.
Ragnarok seemed to be taking a page out of the Guardians book.
Exactly.
So it made sense to unite them in that.
And I think it's been said that Groot is getting to the point now where he's progressing into like his like adult stage of life,
Yeah.
and they said that he's going to like adopt himself a mentor and like basically model himself after that person.
What if it was
They
Thor?
didn't explicitly say who it is, but I bet you it's Thor. I bet you he like models. I mean, he
Well,
even
he
like gave
yeah.
up part of himself to build the hammer. That was cool.
that was
That's how I felt the weapon progression was more meaningful.
It's the same-
This we know like the story of this one.
it has some personal touches to it, and
Yeah.
also like it felt like another meaningful moment for Groot to be growing, because in the last one, like, he had to figure out which button to push for the bomb thing.
Yeah.
And then in this one, he's just
And-
like looking up from his video game, and he's like, "Oh, maybe I should actually
I should help. Yeah.
Yeah.
And he does.
I am Groot. That was great.
I am Steve Rogers.
Yeah.
I just-
meet my friend, a tree. Like I love
the
that.
freaking Guardians in
Thank
this
you,
movie.
Lovely rabbits. Yeah.
There's never been an appearance of the Guardians where I haven't been eating it up. Like,
I know.
They're just so freaking good.
So what
seeing
Go ahead.
Rocket with Bucky was one of my.
I know, that was great. He picks him up and he's like, "Wah!" We saw the movie again last night with AJ, and AJ was cracking up at that. Like, it was
How
great.
much for the gun?
Yeah. I'll get that arm. Okay, one more thing about Thor, though, is he's very clearly becoming a leader. Like,
Oh, yeah.
you've seen the growth in Thor. I didn't like Thor at first because he's very arrogant, and like if you go back to the first Thor movie, and even in Avengers, still the first Avengers, he's very like arrogant and like whatever. I'm better than all these people. He's like clearly becoming a leader and someone you can like
Right.
look up to.
I don't want to go because this leads more to end talks, but I
Yeah.
want to mention
I think
something
he was the
related to
one
the
who
end talk.
turned the tides when.
No,
when
I feel like Thor is with this movie is undoubtedly the strongest Avenger. I feel like
Of the original, of like the core group,
no, of everyone.
of everyone.
I'd say-
That we've seen on that, because I know we have Captain Marvel coming up and she's supposed to be super
I'd
OP.
say the core group because Wanda is really, really
Yeah,
powerful.
there are some people that
but
haven't
she's very situational.
well, I'll give you this. At this point, yes. But there are some people that are so much more powerful than Thor, but they just haven't gotten to that point yet.
Okay.
There are some people that have not realized their full
Okay.
potential. One of them
So let's just
one of
say-
them is Doctor Strange, one of them is Scarlet Witch, because objectively speaking, Doctor Strange is the strongest there. He's the defender of reality. Like so, but yeah, some of these people are newer. Thor's been around for a while. He's mastered. I think at this point, it's safe to say he's pretty much mastered his.
I really like his axe, and I really
Yeah.
like how they're using him. Like because before, when he would use Mjolnir, it was basically just like, oh, I use my hammer to get all the lightning and then shoot it at somewhere else. This time, it's like it's all around him.
I
He's
know.
he's,
that was so
he's the
like he
lightning.
just comes out and like throws it and it's like chain lightning of everybody. I remember like a video
the
game
lightning
moment.
is
I
like
was
right
like,
on top of him. Too.
Yeah.
Like, it's all around his like circle things on his chest.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, that's so cool. And then his
It's
eyes
so-
are glowing. So his robot eye is glowing too.
what?
Like when his eyes
Oh, yeah.
glow.
That's
It
a good
probably
question.
like
Is it
energy from
okay?
his eye socket.
Is it okay?
Yeah, I didn't
Is it
pick up on that
short
either.
circuit?
That's a good
You never
point.
know though.
I felt like the characters in this was very well balanced, and I don't know if we kind of hinted at this, but like,
Captain America's my
especially
boy.
with all the characters, I felt like if there was ever a main character in this, the main character would be Thanos.
I still think he was in a sense.
Yeah.
And that worked very well
Yeah.
because I didn't feel like we were focusing too much on any one Avenger, which I think is part of the problem that Ultron had. It felt like it was focusing way too much on, say,
They're
Tony
trying to
Stark,
split time.
and and just like everyone else just left them just as
Well,
commodities. I felt like everybody had a chance to shine in this movie.
It helps that, from my understanding, they purposefully gave people more screen time in this one, and they're gonna switch it in the next one. The Russo brothers have said that like whoever you see less of in this one, you will see more of in the next Avengers movie. So they did it purposefully, and it really worked out in their
Something that
favor.
I really liked it was that they progressed Tony's story in this movie because
Yeah.
originally like going from
Yeah.
Avengers, like he's the one who you see feels. It looks like he feels most of the repercussions of what just happened in the first Avengers. Like aliens came down into New York and like destroyed everything. He was like going through a rough time in Iron Man 3. In Age of Ultron, like he's trying to protect the world, and he keeps talking about, I'm seeing like this is gonna get much worse. And at first you're just like, oh, Tony, you're just going crazy. You're just getting paranoid. And he's had like a huge amount of development in the last couple of movies.
Yeah, you kind of have a fuller view of why he did what he did in Civil War too.
He's paranoid.
Yeah.
He wants to protect the Earth. Like even with Pepper in the beginning of the movie, she's like,
I know
why do you have
that
me? It's like,
hurt. I was like, man, they're gonna get married, and like he's getting pulled away, and you understand why Pepper is the way she is about it. It's like, it's stressful. Like,
Yeah, he's
so,
like,
was there any emotional notes in this movie that didn't hit with you?
yes, but that's ending stuff for me. So
that's fair.
Yeah.
But as far as regardless of the ending, I felt like for the most part, any emotions that were involved totally was sold on my end,
Yeah, I
which it had a lot of, by the way.
I was completely immersed in this movie until you get to like the last 10 minutes.
Yeah.
But we'll talk about that in a minute.
Also,
Gamora dying. That was really intense.
that was the hardest part of the movie for me because the first time I saw it, I really felt what was going on. Like they get to that point and Red Skull, by the way,
Holy
like
crap.
I totally called it. All right,
did?
When I saw Captain America for the first time and he just like disappears into space, I was like, he ain't dead.
Okay,
no
okay,
way.
that's-
Like
okay,
we're
a lot of people said that.
I know, but I just mean like I knew they wouldn't pass up the opportunity to involve him again.
What
somewhere.
I have a question.
It was super cool.
I have a question.
Yeah.
If Hydra was using the energy from the Tesseract to make all the weapons, and they made everything else disappear when they shot like people and stuff, does that mean all those people went somewhere else, or they
Probably.
just died?
Maybe.
That's so cool.
They also could have
weren't
just ended
killing
up
them.
in space
They were
and
just
died.
teleporting them. That's awesome.
Maybe. Yeah. Wait, where were we? Oh yeah, Gamora. But it's like, so you get to that point, and they go up to the ledge, and he's like, you have to give up something that you love to get the Soul Stone. And immediately in that moment, I was like, wow, he loves her. Like, this sucks.
I knew it
This
too.
really sucks. And even like you're supposed to realize that because it makes the way Gamora reacts to it even more sad.
Yeah.
Because it's like
Because
she doesn't see it coming at all.
Yeah, she's the only one out of the loop.
Exactly. She's like, you don't love anything.
like-
The universe has judged you.
Yeah.
Like,
It's like
yeah.
It's
It's like, and he turns
I was
around
like,
and he's
Gamora, run. Please just run.
he turns around, he's weeping. That also, like, I love Thanos. Like, I know he's supposed to be the villain, and what he's doing is wrong, and it's like horrific, but Thanos is probably my favorite character.
I've been
like,
noticing-
you understand in a sick
yeah,
way
you
what he's
get
doing.
him. Like,
You know, in a lot of these big
He's
blockbuster
real.
movies that we're seeing,
Mhm.
especially these series movies like Star Wars and
Mhm.
whatnot, I feel like the successful ones have an underlying moral behind it.
Yeah.
And in this one, it's sacrifice.
Yep.
We see that with the
Mhm.
conversations.
yeah, he's like, I'm the only one that has the will to do this.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
you see it when we talk
Mhm.
about like Thor and Star-Lord. We see it when we talk about with Vision and him talking
Yep.
about what's it like for it, and then just all these things about what are you willing to sacrifice for the greater good of
Yep.
everything. And when you put it in that context, I think that makes it really powerful. Like,
I don't
Yeah,
remember like who he was talking to, but Thanos, like, somebody asked him like, "Oh, what are you gonna do after the end of all this?" And he's just like, "I'm just gonna watch like the sunrise on the new universe."
Yeah.
I was like, "Yeah, he's not gonna be sitting there at the top of his throne being like, I've conquered everything." He's
No,
just trying
he's
to
like,
change it.
I'm
And then-
done. I've done my
and then
service to the
He
universe.
says he'll like rest, and I was like, that's
whoa.
very different from other
Yeah.
villains who are just like, I want it all.
It's not
no,
like
I
a
just-
world
In
domination
fact,
thing.
if anything,
yeah.
I wish that they talked more about, because I love the backstory bit with Gamora. I thought that was really
Yeah.
awesome. I wish they did something similar for his talking a point about, because that explained his relationship with Gamora and why that's important
Nebula?
to him.
Is that what you're
No,
going
Gamora.
No,
with?
Titan.
No, but I mean, where are you going with
Oh, no, about his homeworld
Yeah.
and why
Oh.
he has the ideals about what he thinks about the universe.
I think we'll get into that in the next one. I think we'll get
because
into that in the next one.
he did the whole thing with the reality
Yeah.
stones. Like, yeah, this
We
did
know
a
what we
little
need to
bit.
know, though.
Yeah, I
We know
just
we
wish
need to
I had a
know.
more emotional connection with that because I felt like it would have made the end more meaningful.
Yeah, maybe that's something that didn't hit me as hard because I know about him more. Like, for one thing they haven't touched on yet is he's actually like a freak to his
Yeah.
own people. He's deformed. He's like a Quasimodo kind of guy.
Mhm.
Like, I can't remember in what ways, but he's not normal for a Titan.
Titan
Somehow.
looks more humanoid.
Okay, yeah. So he's like, there's some like outcast like mentality where he's not an accepted person and stuff like that.
He even says himself that they thought he was crazy when his solution to everything was killing half the population.
Yeah.
So literally an outcast.
Something that was
Yeah.
interesting though is that he said like, yeah, it wouldn't be taking preference over the rich or the poor. We just do it randomly.
Yeah, I remember that. He'd be like, just
Huh.
free, just people.
And you notice how he never, very interestingly, he never killed, like straight up killed, unless if it was absolutely necessary.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I don't know about that because he killed off all those dwarves at the
But-
star.
No, because that was just in that section. We don't know if that was the entire plant. That's just in the factory.
That wasn't a planet. Those are rings. The thing is like I think the guy also, by the way, Peter Dinklage is a giant dwarf. That's
I know.
Holy crap.
Peter
I laughed
Dinklage,
when
a
I
dwarf, plays a dwarf who's a giant. Like,
I laughed so hard.
I did
think
too.
When I saw that it was Peter Dinklage playing the giant, I was like, he must be like, finally, I'm not playing the token small person.
Yeah,
I
he's
heard the
like,
high
I'm
ground.
playing the small big guy. Like,
It's awesome.
it was so great. Yeah.
I feel giant.
Didn't see that coming.
No.
That-
Well, I knew he was in the movie, but I forgot.
I
I didn't
didn't
know
know.
what character he was
forgot
playing.
about it until I saw that. I'm just
Yeah.
like, what?
Yeah.
Also,
Which is
great
cool.
Stan Lee cameo though. I don't.
I know.
yeah.
I don't think I'd want him driving my my school bus though. I'm just like he's so.
And
He's
Ned,
so-
like Ned's little cameo
Ned,
was great. He's like,
perfect.
he just like pats him on the face from behind. He's like, do a distraction. He's like, oh, we're gonna die. Yeah, it was great. Pure moment of
I
friendship.
really like Spider-Man in this movie.
Yeah,
by the
I
way.
did too.
I love seeing him and Tony just like going back and forth, and then like just seeing how he does stuff. He's like, "Hey, what are we doing, Mr. Stark? Okay, I'm gonna go save the space wizard or the wizard."
I loved it too. I love the relationship. I just like how he's like
such a kid.
He like knights him real quick. Is like, ta-da, you're an Avenger, and he like loves it so much.
He's
like,
so
wow.
happy, and then he just like tries to be very serious.
Yeah.
Real quick before we move on, the comedy in this movie was so good. It's so weird. It's been a while since I've seen such an emotional movie that also had such solid comedy. It was such an emotional roller coaster.
I didn't realize it as much until I watched it the second time. I was so caught up in the serious themes of the movie that I noticed the comedy more a second time through. But yeah, it was really good.
I really liked Ebony Maw, the guy who's the Squidward guy.
Yeah.
Oh my god, Squidward.
Oh my word. Go ahead. I mean...
I'm just really happy with that character. Like, they had some really good side villains in this one, too, and I thought he was a very interesting...
Best side villains I've seen in a long time.
I saw... So, there are memes going around the internet, like, as soon as the movie came out. It was like...
Spoilers, but only if you've seen it.
Exactly. Spoilers without context.
Yeah.
By the way, they're totally meaningless spoilers, but they're hilarious.
Yeah.
Like, after I watched them... Because I saw those before I watched the movie, and I was like, oh boy, I can't wait to understand what these mean. And then you watch the movie, and you're just like, oh, like, I get it. Like, so it was great.
Also, great job for Wong being like, oh, I need to protect the Sanctum, so I'm not going to go fight with you guys. And sure, Wong.
Also, best soundtrack for a Marvel movie I've seen in a long time.
Yeah.
Especially...
It was emotional.
Yeah.
Thanos'
like,
music is...
When Thanos is, like, attacking... Oh, I don't want to...
Well, we're moving into the end, so I'll just say it real quick. At the end of the movie, when he's got all the stones and he appears like in Wakanda like that, the music that starts for him is intense. Like it reminded me of like a Star Wars moment, like literally.
Also,
like,
when like he has to kill Gamora, like that was like very emotional,
and
very powerful.
Just the main theme of this is so good. Every time you hear the trailer, you're like, it just gets me hyped all over again.
So good.
Well, actually, no, that was one of the things that got me. Was because the first time I watched the movie, the moment where they're all like basically getting beaten by that horde in Wakanda, and then Thor shows up, and then the music starts blaring. Like, everybody in the theater cheered the first time I watched that, and then watching it again this time, nobody was cheering, but I got chills watching it because it's so loud and powerful, and it's just like, this is the turning of the tide. This is where Thor's just like, all right, I am back. I just got burned by a dying star, but I don't care because I'm gonna kick all your butts.
Yeah, I kept telling people after this, I was like, as hard for me as it is to admit, Avengers Infinity War was a better Star Wars movie than The Last Jedi was.
Whoa!
I said it because it has a Star Wars like scope to it. It has a Star Wars like epicness to it, and
You're
the fact
not
that
wrong, actually.
and the fact that they go to so many different places and there's so many different creatures and like the music.
Because Star Wars Last Jedi was so confined to certain aspects. Certain
sometimes
spaces.
it felt like a Star Wars movie, not in a bad way, not in an unoriginal way, but like the epic scope of it.
That's what I actually really liked about the prequels, is that it actually felt like Star Wars, like it was all across the galaxy.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna flip
and the place, the name cards were better in this one than in Civil War.
Oh my goodness, Civil War, that was like absolutely awful. Yeah. And then I think they go to the Guardians and it just says space.
I love that.
It.
And the music starts for their tone.
But now we're gonna have to talk about the last 10 minutes.
So we're transitioning to the ending. And I just want to open by saying, as soon as the movie ended the first time I watched it, I not yelled, but like audibly said, the people next to me could hear me. As soon as the movie ended, I was like, I don't buy it. I was like, I don't buy it. So I was talking earlier about how like I really was like fully immersed in this movie into the last 10 minutes. As soon as Thanos snaps his fingers and the people start fading away, it totally took me out of the movie, because the people that were dying, spoilers, Black Panther and Spider-Man especially, I was just like, no, I don't buy it. Like, I know those people can't stay dead. Yeah, like, this is a promise you can't keep. I don't buy it. It doesn't really mean anything to me because I don't feel like they're actually dead.
So I guess if O snap, it's like no.
Yeah,
snap.
It's like a no snap. Yeah. So
it was still rough for me to watch because it was completely different from what I was expecting. Because I was thinking, like, watching the trailers, I was like, oh, Iron Man, Cap are gonna die basically, and then you just see Bucky just being like, Steve, and he just floats away. And I'm just like, oh no.
I was not expecting Thanos to get all of the stones in this movie.
I've heard a couple people say that.
Yeah. And holy crap, can we just talk about the fact that the movie literally ends with Thanos getting exactly what he wanted, and then literally just ending.
Yeah.
Like, that's it. There's no other, like, gleam of hope or anything.
There's nothing
They literally
uplifting.
end on what Thanos said, exactly what he wanted. When have we ever seen that in the movie where the villain gets exactly what he wanted?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Like, damn.
And there's no like
Yeah.
uplifting thing at the end of that.
Yeah, exactly.
Except for the fact that you know other movies are coming. Yeah,
that's it.
Like, that's it. But what if we didn't have that?
Oh my
like,
gosh.
That's yeah. If we didn't
Well, also
know.
the end, like the end credits scene. By the way, when I was watching it the first time, like we were watching it, and you know how there's usually like two of them.
Mm-hmm.
Like after the main cast of people is on the screen, like the credits, there's another one, and then there's another one at the very end.
Usually, yeah.
Yeah, but they didn't do that. So we got to the end of like all the main cast credits and that sort of thing, and then it keeps going, and then I just heard somebody in the movie theater just say like, "I'm not going. I'm not
Yeah.
leaving."
Yeah.
I'm just like,
You ain't
"That's right."
fooling me.
I'm just like, "That's right, buddy. That's right.
Yeah.
I got you."
I know. Walking out of the theater last night when we saw it for the second time, I almost felt like I had to explain myself walking
Yeah,
out of
I'm
the theater
just like, I'm not
before
one of
the
those
end
people.
credit. I was like, I've already seen it. We got somewhere to be. Don't worry. Like we get it. Like
It's okay.
it's like you're not one of the cool people if you leave the theater before the end credit scenes
Of a
come up.
Marvel movie.
Yeah, but no, like I totally get that they only had one because it was like a much more meaningful end credit scene
Yeah.
than normal.
Oh,
Also
great,
cool.
great Samuel Jackson reference, by the
Yeah,
way.
I know, and then he like just disappears. It's like, yep, that
He
needed to
wasn't doing
happen.
Nick, it wasn't Nick Fury. He was just being himself.
Yeah.
Yeah, but speculatory, some speculation.
I
don't know why
appreciate,
said
by the way, I
speculatory.
appreciate how they only had one end credit scene and not like three like they had in Thor Ragnarok. I felt that was a bit much.
I love end
You know what
credit
I don't
scenes. I don't know.
get?
I eat them right up. Like I don't know.
Here's one thing I don't get though is that Tony got stabbed.
Yep.
And then he just like seals it up, and he's
Well, because
fine.
there wasn't that much time.
Yeah.
So like his body was dying and he would have been dead very shortly after,
Uh-huh.
but he was able to fix it because there
Yeah.
wasn't much time from when
No,
he
no,
got
but
stabbed to when he
what if
fixed
it
it.
hit it must have hit organs, right? Are they? What
It
organs
was
are-
on this. I don't know.
It was
Hit him
like-
right
It
and
here.
you
was-
see
it's like
afterwards,
right here.
you see afterwards, he's still very visible. Like he's not okay.
He's
like,
not in like good shape by any means, but he's
Yeah.
not dead. Yeah.
Um,
Which one cool thing about that though is that one of my most like haha moments of the movie was the fact that Doctor Strange knows exactly how this ends, and he knew that it included Tony Stark
Yeah.
staying alive. So like
Can I just
he knew what
say
he was
that
doing.
I was really happy that at first I was a little bit disappointed because I thought I had figures like, oh, I get this thing. I think I know how the next movie's going to go because I remember the bit with Doctor Strange. But it turns out everybody like figures that out. And I was like, oh, I don't feel as special. But then I realized, no, that's a really good job on the movie's part that they really convey to the audience what's going on here.
Yeah.
Because there's two pivotal moments. You have the one where Doctor Strange goes and he sees, I've seen all the futures, and there's only one where we win.
Yeah.
And two, right before Doctor Strange goes, he explains like this was the only way.
Yeah.
Clearly referencing that this is how it's meant to be. He was not
Yeah.
worried.
This
Like,
is how it's meant to be for us to win.
yeah.
Yeah.
You saw like
In the
he
end.
was scared, but not scared because he was leaving, but not scared because like wasn't supposed to be.
It wasn't a forced thing. It wasn't like, oh no, Thanos is making me give up the time stone. It's like, no, hold on a second, keep Tony alive,
Yeah.
you can have the stone.
And you
like,
knew something was up because they made a very good point.
He made it very
Um,
clear in the beginning.
Yeah.
Under no circumstances would he ever give anyone the stone, or would he do anything in
Exactly.
place of the stone.
Yeah.
And they were very, very specific about that. In fact, I think that's why there was only one future where they win. Because for whatever reason, this specific action involves them winning.
Yeah, that would
And
he never would have done that.
literally
Yeah.
in no future would he have done that unless he literally looked into the future to see that that's what he
Yeah.
have to do.
So by looking into the future, he made the one possibility. That's
Exactly.
crazy. Wow.
That's really weird.
boom. Roasted.
So I think that not only explains what's going on, but why there was only one,
Mm-hmm.
and it's not directly related to the odds of them winning, but just how it needed to happen.
So what about that scene after the scene where he's in like after he is it before he snaps his fingers? I think it's before he snaps his fingers
where he goes into like this like orange place.
That's after. That's like right.
Yeah, that's after he snaps his
and then
fingers.
He goes back.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. So is that inside the Soul Stone? And Gamora's there? I think Gamora's in the Soul Stone. I don't think she's dead.
No, because that's baby Gamora, remember?
I know, but what if it's just like how she's perceived in that?
Maybe he was
like
having a nap or something.
I don't know, but I have this theory that Gamora isn't like. I mean, obviously, none of them are dead.
Well, to be fair, you had to give a soul to get a soul, so maybe that's the
I
same
think
soul
Gamora.
as in the stone.
That would make sense. I think Gamora's soul is in the Soul Gem.
So what does a soul gem do exactly?
There's a whole world inside the Soul Gem.
Okay.
At least in the comics there is, and I don't
That
see
would
any
make the
reason
whole
for them
axe
to.
thing make sense.
Yeah.
I would like to Gamora being the only weird point. Anyone who didn't turn into ash and died is dead, in my opinion.
You think so?
Yeah.
I kind of feel that way
Loki's
too.
Dead?
Yeah.
Although I still don't buy that Loki's dead. I'll just say no. Seriously, he didn't turn blue.
Yeah, he did.
No, he didn't. He didn't turn blue. When he died, he didn't turn blue. That kind of like makes me skeptical.
Is it because he's a Jotun that he like if he dies he turns blue?
He's making himself look humanoid purposefully. Like I would imagine if he dies, that goes away because he's not exerting that.
It could have been just an error by the.
Maybe, but I don't buy it. Like I still don't. He might be dead,
think
but
he's
I don't.
dead.
Yeah.
I prefer to keep dead characters dead.
Yeah.
But this is what and exactly that's why the ending didn't affect me as much
It's
because
still
I'm
hurt
like
for me though.
I don't know.
So here's the thing. What basically happened is that all the characters that thought that were gonna die are quote unquote safe.
Yeah.
And all the ones that we thought were gonna be safe are into dust.
Yeah.
However, looking at it, the only thing that I really see is that they've drawn a hard line between two separate groups of people, and just because.
Wait,
What?
I have a thing.
What?
I have an idea.
Go.
So Thanos snaps his fingers and half of the people cease to exist. Do all their souls go into the Soul Gem?
Yeah,
I think so.
Yeah, that would make a lot of sense. And
Yeah.
that's why you see them turn to ash and not into like.
That would make sense with what happens in the comics. Because in the comics, Adam Warlock is inside the Soul Gem, and he is pivotal. I can't even say pivotal. In defeating Thanos. I actually think Captain Marvel's gonna step into that role because Adam Warlock hasn't been officially introduced yet. We know he exists because of the end of Guardians 2, but I think Captain Marvel's gonna step into the role of Adam Warlock, and she's gonna be the one that helps.
Whoa! What if Captain Marvel's already in the Soul Gem, and that's why we haven't seen her in the past 20 years?
Maybe.
That would make sense. That explain how she looks so good after 20 years.
Yeah, actually. Oh, what if we just figured it out? Because
That's right, Marvel. What are you?
Yeah, we just figured you out, suckers. like,
Mother.
I mean, like, we don't know. We can't say we know, but that makes sense to me because.
Other people must have gone to the Soul Gem,
Captain
right?
Marvel, the movie takes place in the past, but she's still. They're not gonna make her look old. Like, you know what I mean? Like, she's still gonna look
Brie
young.
Larson. I mean, come on.
Yeah.
So that's a really good theory. I do also want to state what I think that's going to happen in the next movie, and I think it's going to actually be more emotional than what we have seen because what they've done is they've drawn a hard line between two sets of characters
Who we thought would die.
We know that.
But the thing is that what hasn't changed is that one action that we thought was going to have to one group of characters, all those characters are still on one side of that line, and that's really bad to me because I think we're still right. I just think it's not going to happen yet. In fact, I think that in order to get everyone back, it's going to involve the surviving Avengers to sacrifice themselves.
I agree.
And we're literally going to lose all of them.
A friend and I theorized like the day I saw the movie came out Friday? Thursday. I saw the movie on Sunday. The day after, me and one of my friends were like, he said, he's like, I think in the next movie, the surviving Avengers will have to sacrifice themselves to bring the other ones back. And that makes sense to me. Here's the thing with that, though. In that respect, that makes this movie just build up for the next one.
That's fine.
As far as stakes go, but that's not what I was promised. Like, that's seriously. I was promised real stakes where people really die and don't come back, but I don't have proof of that yet.
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
So, I understand that struggle, but I feel like
Still loved the movie though. Don't get me
I
wrong.
feel like stakes
loved
have been placed. I mean, Thanos won straight
Yeah.
up.
Yeah.
He got exactly what he wanted, and now, I don't see here. What's great is that
isn't it weird that we really like this movie even though the bad guy wins?
Yeah.
Well, because because I'm sick of winning. Like, you notice? I mean, do you get it? Like
Every time we
does
win.
that make sense?
Classic
though?
example: Rocky.
Yeah.
Rocky, like, it wouldn't nearly be as inspirational if he didn't lose.
Yeah. Winning is too predictable. I
Even
love
in Civil War that didn't.
Well, because the thing is that if all you
Yeah,
do
but
is
that's
win,
out of
no
the
matter
films
what,
anyway.
then.
What?
Nothing. You'll listen back.
Empire Strikes Back. They don't win.
If all you do is win, then you. Yeah, no.
I don't get it. Come on.
All I do is win, no matter what.
I don't know what that is.
It's a song reference.
I don't know that song.
Anyways,
It's okay.
if all you're doing is winning, then you don't think it's any special because you never lose.
Exactly.
So I never lose.
Yeah.
So yeah, I really think that we're gonna lose all the Avengers, and I think there's not gonna be a single dry eye in the theater because you can't tell me that you're not emotionally connected to at least one of those original Avengers.
I really like Cap in this movie.
When
Even
they,
enough screen time,
yeah,
I
when
like him.
if they do, when they actually kill off Tony, I will be. Really
I think it's
sad.
all gonna happen at
I
once
will be
too.
Really sad.
Like I think that they're all gonna die at the same time, kind of thing.
Yeah.
Hopefully they all die together.
That would be so symbolic. And seriously, I think everyone would lose it. Like,
Yeah.
how like
I would
I'm
probably
serious.
like stand up and turn around and be like, group hug, and, like just the whole theater.
Guys, come on, bring it in!
How could
Unite America in this Avengers theater right now.
especially with all the development they have, you can't tell me you can't relate to at least
It's
one
10
of those
years.
Avengers. You
10
know?
years of this, man.
I know.
Like, even when the Marvel, like, logo came up, it just said 10 at like,
I
in
was
part
like,
of it.
oh.
I'm just like, oh, it's been a long road.
Yeah.
And I
I've
didn't
grown
start-
up so much in the.
I didn't even start watching the Avengers movies until like 2011, right before the first Avengers movie came out. So I was fine.
I mean, you don't even really know that the universe is a thing until like Iron Man 2, I think. Right? No, I don't know.
Hulk.
What's the order? I didn't even know Hulk was in the universe until a couple of years ago, though.
yeah,
I had
well,
no
that was
idea.
an end credit scene. I haven't even actually watched the entirety of the whole.
What's the
movie.
end credit scene?
It has
Hulk?
Tony Stark going up to Ross and being like, "Hey,
Really?
thinking about putting together a team."
Huh?
Yeah.
I didn't see that.
It's a thing.
Oh well. Okay. Cool.
yeah.
Anyway, Captain Marvel's gonna be a crazy movie.
And yeah,
Side
like
note, I really like the new Iron Man armor in this movie. It's so cool.
I loved it. I did have a problem a little bit with his head though, because like at one
What
point in the
is-
movie, it looks like the helmet is smaller than his actual head. Like, and I was like, wait a second.
wait a minute. I think that what's really exciting about the next Avengers movie is that I honestly don't know what's going to happen. I have some ideas for the end, but as far as how they get there, I have no clue. Like,
Yeah.
And we
what's
don't
the
even know
next
who-
step for them?
Is Thanos
No
the villain
idea.
in the next one? Like, who are they fighting against? Because he's already won in
Don't
this
know.
one.
Yeah, because I mean, fighting him without the Infinity Gauntlet powers would be enough. Because I mean, he kicks Thor's butts. He kicks Hulk's butt without
Yeah.
those. Like
Yeah.
that would be a
Yeah, but this-
formidable foe.
Here's the thing: if you're
force
able to
on
fight
its own, but
smart against Hulk, you might be able to win.
maybe.
Maybe.
I don't know. But
If you're able to scare him, you can definitely win.
so my theory at the end of Ant-Man and the Wasp, which is the next one coming, is that either Ant-Man or the Wasp they fade away at the end of the movie.
yeah.
That I think that
That'd
would
be
be
weird for people who haven't seen the Avengers, though.
that'd be a perfect way to tie it in, though. And for those who haven't seen it, it would be equally as what just happened.
Maybe if
like
it was an end credit scene, would that be better?
Either, however they decide to do it, I think it would be perfect. Like that one of them fades away,
Yeah.
and that would be a good way to get whoever is still left over involved with the next movie.
Or maybe Ant-Man doesn't fade away, but we see that all of a sudden after everything, like the ending has happened, then because you saw on the end credit scene through Avengers, where it's not just the Avengers, it's the cute normal people too are fading away. With after everything they've done in the movie is good, and then all of a sudden people just start disappearing. They're like, "What's?" So they're reacting just
Yeah.
like Nick Fury was reacting, basically similar to that.
Except for not motherfucker.
Yeah.
Like,
Something that's really nice about this movie is that I didn't notice it the first time, but the second time somebody says like, "Hey, where's what about Scott Lang and Barton?" And they're just like, "Oh, they're under house arrest because of their families, so they're able to stay with them a little bit." I'm just like, "Oh, that explains a lot now." Like I kind of like that.
yeah.
I'm wondering about that.
But
if you've been paying attention, you know that Hawkeye is in the next one because they filmed these back to back, and they've released set photos of Hawkeye in costume. So I think that's really cool that they filmed them back to back.
Yeah.
Last time I've heard of that being done was Lord of the Rings. I mean, I could be wrong, but
no, there's
the
definitely
Hobbit.
been more recent ones.
Yeah, but it's just it's cool when they do that.
Yeah. Technically, Avatar.
Oh, really?
This hasn't come out yet, but that's why it's taking them so long to come out with the new Avatar movies, is because they're doing them back to back to back.
Oh,
How
like
many
the
of them
new.
are there?
How many?
There's like a new trilogy, I believe.
Oh wow.
Yeah, it's going to be coming out starting 2020.
I don't even know if I'm excited about that.
No, it's impossible to be
You
excited.
just
Yeah,
said
it's like-
you just said 2020, by the way.
Yeah.
2000. That is
The year
yeah,
2020.
that
Isn't that
makes
crazy? 2020 is not that far away.
No.
Next year is 2019, and then the next year after that is 2020. Holy
I'm
crap.
gonna have some good vision in 2020.
Hopefully we'll still have Vision. No,
I know. Hopefully, we'll still have Vision in 2020.
By the way, Vision.
Yeah, he seems pretty dead to me.
Get wrecked in the head.
I think he can come back though, because it's like we don't know how much progress Shuri made with that.
Yeah.
All you do, you could just repair his shell. You just repair his body, and like so that's still up in the air for me. Is whether I don't think
I just don't want them. Again, I just don't
I don't
want
want
there
them
to be
chickening out.
exits for every single person who died. You know.
Somebody should be really
that's
dead.
what I'm saying. Is like they
Well, we
have
know-
not clearly proved to us that some people are dead and some people aren't.
Heimdall's dead.
Yeah, well, even I don't know about that. Like, the ending totally makes me like, well, now I don't know if anybody's really dead.
It's basically Marvel giving the middle finger with the time stone. It's just like, hey, we can do whatever
That
we want.
was super impactful too.
Because I saw it coming. I just really, really was hoping it wouldn't happen.
I
We all
didn't
thought-
realize it until it happened.
Oh, really?
Yeah, when
Oh,
she
it's like
killed
over
him,
my
I
head.
was like, crap, well, like, what happens now? And then he starts it, and I'm like, oh, no.
I think I thought about it like a little bit before he actually did it, but I was like, I was thinking the same as you guys. I'm like, he's gonna just pluck it out of
that
his
was
head.
super sad, though.
Because I was just
That
thinking,
must have
as soon as
messed her
Thanos was there, and by the way, a great scene when he's like kicking everybody's asses as he's like coming up, and as soon as like, it doesn't matter if she kills the stone or not, because he can see that she's doing that, and if at any point she destroys it, he just turn back time if he's there in eyesight. Like,
I like
it's
how
over from that point.
I really like how they utilized all the stone's powers.
Yeah.
Because that's
And
what I was
also,
wondering about.
for all the people saying that, why didn't he kill anybody? It's like, because he didn't need to. He had, as they established in the beginning of the movie, let him have his fun. He just wanted to beat the crap out of them because he wanted them to witness him winning.
Yeah.
He wanted.
Not only that, but it's not his purpose to kill all of them. He's
Right.
got a specific, like, kill half the universe. He doesn't care who it is. Yeah.
At first,
So-
like, he was doing it because he was trying to do it
And-
without the soul, like, without the
Yeah.
gems.
Oh my gosh, that line with Thanos and Tony Stark when he's like, "I hope they remember you." I was like really taken aback. I was
Yeah.
like, "Damn!" Like he actually respects him.
Yeah.
Like.
Yeah, he's like, I hope they remember you. Like,
You-
Like,
I'm gonna kill you,
I
but-
appreciate what you've done to improve like humankind and all
Yeah.
the sacrifices that you made, and like seeing himself in him. I was just like, that's when I realized how much I really like Thanos. I was like, damn, I really like everything that they've done with.
also, let me address another problem people keep having that is dumb. It's not a problem, guys. Stop it. Is they people are saying, why couldn't he just use the reality stone to make twice as many resources instead of killing half the amount of people? It only changes reality as long as he consciously makes an effort to keep it that way.
And it's perceived reality.
Exactly.
It's not changing reality.
Yeah, because if you've noticed, like, it doesn't permanently change reality, because if it did, Mantis and Drax would
Yeah.
still be
Yeah.
dead. Like they would still be in that state if it actually changed reality for good.
Yeah.
I was pretty mad at Peter Quill for not waiting 10 more seconds for them to get the gauntlet off.
I know, I was really mad at him. I almost felt like it was a little inconsistent, because he's been in high stress situations like this before. He had to have been. Like, you literally can't keep yourself together for a few more seconds while they get the glove off.
Maybe this was his breaking moment, but the second
Maybe
time around it
because-
wasn't as bad for me, but still. I was
Yeah,
like,
maybe because he did, or maybe it's not inconsistent. Maybe Quill can't contain himself because he couldn't when his dad revealed that he killed his mom. He couldn't keep it together then. He totally lost
Yeah.
it. So maybe it is consistent with his character, but still, man, it was so bad.
that was
And
like,
he was like, "Did we just lose?"
like,
like,
gee, I wonder
Yeah, we
why,
did.
Peter.
Thanks. Yeah.
Great job. Also, okay, we were all talking about it doesn't really matter that these people have like died, quote unquote, but Peter Parker, man, that scene when he leaves, like, that still hurt.
No,
for me.
No,
Like,
see, here's the thing, though.
It's like he's
I still
begging
didn't-
for help, though.
That will be
I
sad.
still
That
didn't
will
buy
still
it.
be sad. You know why? Because
I know,
that's because even if Spider-Man is coming back, which he is, that could very well be
The last time he sees
Spider-Man's
Tony.
goodbye to Tony, because he may never see Tony again.
I hope they see each other one last time. Like, maybe it'll be like right when Tony has to die, and then Peter will just be absolutely crushed, and that'd be a very good scene to watch.
Have a reversal.
Heartbreaking.
So one thing that I was pointing out is if these original Avengers die, I think it'd be cool if Shuri took over for Iron Man, because in the comics there is a girl that takes over for Iron Man, becomes Ironheart. I think that'd be super cool. I think it fits. I want Bucky to come back and take over for Cap, because he's my favorite Cap replacement. Do you guys have any how we would like to see it progress in that respect?
I would
want
like
Thor
Deadpool
to
to take
survive.
over for Stan Lee when he passes away for cameos.
Oh, really? Yeah. Oh, that would be cool. Regrettably, when Stan Lee does leave this world,
He's in his 90s.
I know
dude.
he's an old guy. It would be cool to see Deadpool take that role of cameo for every movie he's in it somewhere. That would
makes
be
so much
awesome.
sense.
Yeah.
And you could CG that too.
Yeah.
That's a character you can't CG Stan Lee. You just
No,
can't do that.
yeah.
I don't care. I would be very upset if they did that.
They won't do it.
What if,
Yeah.
for the last cameo that Stanley ever did, Deadpool comes up to him and is just like, I'll take it from here? That'd be kind of rough to watch.
Wasn't there a cameo?
It was a Deadpool cameo.
No. In a Deadpool trailer.
Oh,
I
yeah,
think it
he's
was for
like,
the
hey,
first
nice suit. Shut it, Stanley.
Yeah, that's what it was.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, because it's funny that he knows who it is.
They probably won't do that because it's not necessarily a reason. We're so used to that one token cameo in every Marvel movie, and I just think that it's because Deadpool literally breaks the fourth walls. It'd be kind of funny, but
Yeah.
It might be a little bit much, too on the nose.
Anyways, to cap off this movie, I want to say that on a technical perspective, this was not the best Marvel movie, and it was definitely far from a perfect 10 in my opinion. That being said, that's from a technical standpoint, because
What do you
like
mean?
I said,
What do you mean technical?
so for instance, this movie can't stand on its own. If you didn't have all the pre-existing movies, it wouldn't make nearly as much sense, and if you judge this movie solely on its own, it's not. That being said,
We're so
though,
far beyond
from
that
an
now, though.
enjoyment standpoint, and as far as when I left the movie, I could I was so happy. I was so enthralled. I had so much enjoyment coming out of that film, and it is by far one of my favorite Marvel movies ever from an enjoyment standpoint.
Considering the universe as a whole, which is a completely unique thing in cinema, might I add, judging this movie is so hard because there is not another single movie like it, as far as what it took to get to this point. So, just with that in mind, this, in my opinion, this is the best Marvel movie they've ever made.
Our minds were blown when the
Like-
first Avengers movie came out. Can you imagine what would happen if we had seen this movie 6 years ago?
Yeah, because I mean,
Would have been dead in the theater.
Because-
Just dead.
believe it or not, this movie actually lived up to the expectations, the enormous expectations it had.
Take notes,
Yeah.
Star Wars.
Yeah, like I said, I mean, you have to use a little bit of a different measurement for this movie. But if you're okay with that, I was telling people perfect 10 for me when I was asked how it was and if people should see it. Yes to both. But
I really hope you guys have seen it since you were listening to this. So.
Yeah.
Please, it's way better to watch a movie without spoilers.
yeah,
Oh wow.
we did it.
We could talk about this
Yeah,
for a whole
we
another
could.
hour if we
Yeah.
wanted to, but we're gonna have to end it here. Thank you so much for joining us.
It's good to be back.
It's good to be back.
It's the boys are back in town.
Boys are back in town.
Yeah. Oh, and just again, thank you to our friends who have been here with us to keep this going.
Yeah, and they'll still make future apperances.
Yes.
if you like them.
We'll make them.
You better
Yeah.
like them because we love them.
So, yeah. Yeah, I don't really have anything else to
That's
say.
all, folks. I don't know what we're trying to do.
Stay kind, geeks. That's it.
All right.